A lot has happened so far in Daredevil Born Again. Watch out, spoilers for Season 1 ahead, including the finale. Even before Season 1 was released, the show had been planned to have 2 seasons. The development of the revival began back in 2022, and the first season was originally supposed to have 18 episodes. In 2023, Marvel Studios decided to take the project in a new direction. The initial concept was split into 2 seasons. The first one with 9 episodes and the second with 8 episodes. Let's go through a quick recap of what happened in the 9 episodes we have watched so far before diving into plot predictions for Season 2, Daredevil Born Again. Season 1 catches up with Matt Murdock 1 year after he retired from his work as the vigilante Daredevil. When Benjamin Poindexter, also known as the villain Bullseye, killed his best friend Foggy in Episode 1, something reawakened Matt. Pretty soon, Wilson Fisk's rise to power as the new mayor of New York City began to change how law enforcement works in the city. The killing of Hector Ayala, the White Tiger, was another huge turning point in the season. It was a devastating consequence of the impunity for the rogue police officers who start a Punisher cult gang. We've also seen the rise of Muse, a serial killer who used his victims' blood to paint murals around the city, including many with messages against Fisk. Matt knew Fisk would come after him if he became a vigilante again, but he had no other choice but to bring Daredevil back, especially when Heather, who was Muse's therapist and Matt's girlfriend, and Angela, Hector Ayala's niece, were in danger. Towards the end of the season, Poindexter escaped from Rikers and attempted to kill Fisk. Matt took the bullet for Fisk, saving his life. By then, Matt had figured out that it was Vanessa Fisk who had hired Poindexter to kill Foggy. Fisk didn't care about Matt's act of heroism. His thanks to Matt for saving his life was continuing to try and have his nemesis Daredevil killed. One of the best things about the season was seeing the team up between Daredevil and the Punisher, but Frank was definitely not in a good place, which compromised everything. Fisk used the attempt on his life to put New York City under martial law and make vigilantes illegal, unleashing his newly formed task force to arrest anyone wearing a mask. He went as far as shutting the city's power grid to install a sense of fear and emergency. From killing Commissioner Phil Gallo with his bare hands to giving his task force free agency and total impunity, Fisk turned New York City into his personal state. Daredevil and the Punisher continued to be hunted down by Fisk's men. Karen made a comeback and helped them escape a near-death experience, but Frank put himself in a dangerous position again after that and got captured by his misguided fanboys. In parallel, Matt and Karen finally discovered what had gotten Foggy killed. The Red Hook project, which was clearly bigger than the renovation of a port, was in fact a plan to establish a major free port. Free ports or zones are designated by the government as areas that essentially exist outside its borders for tax purposes. Fisk is behind this port in which companies can be exempt from taxes and regulations, a gateway into and out of New York in which the laws of the city and country don't apply. Vanessa had already been running the free port business under her own methods, but when Fisk returned and became mayor, the Red Hook was upgraded into a government project. Foggy represented a man involved in a crime in the Red Hook. During his own investigations, Foggy found out about the location being a free port. Going back to Episode 1, Foggy was celebrating because he would get his client's case dismissed because of the unclear legal status of the zone. But Vanessa didn't want the truth about the location getting out, so she hired Bullseye to shoot Foggy. After silencing Foggy, Vanessa threw Poindexter back in jail. So, when Poindexter escaped, his first thought was revenge. He hates the Fisk couple for everything they did to him since Daredevil, and for making him pay for the crime Vanessa had commissioned. The finale ends with Frank inside a cage in Fisk's dungeon, Fisk being more powerful than ever, and Matt promising to build an army to get the city back. Then comes the post-credits scene, where Frank tries to escape from captivity. Clearly, the heroes won't be at a great place when Season 2 starts. Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is currently in production and scheduled to premiere on Disney Plus in March 2026. When Marvel Studios decided to make changes to Daredevil Born Again, the original creative team had already shot several episodes. The second crew hired only shot episodes 1, 8, and 9 of Season 1 and are now making the entire Season 2. According to executive producer Dario Scardapane in an April 2025 interview on the official Marvel podcast, Season 1 was all about tragedy. Now, Season 2 will be like a Greek epic. The hero returns and sets things right, just as Matt declares he will in the Season 1 finale. In Season 1, viewers felt like asking Matt Murdock, "Where is Daredevil?" In Season 2, we will feel like asking Daredevil where Matt is. Daredevil will finally be born again, fully reborn. It's worth noting how Season 1 blends street-level drama with larger political commentary, creating a layered story about corruption and resistance. The show's refusal to shy away from gritty violence and ethical ambiguity will only escalate. Many New Yorkers will hate Fisk and side with vigilantes, but many will idolize Fisk even more than before. He will be seen by his followers as the savior of the city, a supreme leader who can do no wrong. While the title references the 1989 comic book storyline Born Again in Marvel Comics, The show is not exactly its adaptation. In fact, Season 1 felt like a transition between Daredevil and the major storyline of the revival that will come in Season 2. That would be an adaptation of the 2021 storyline Devil's Reign, in which Fisk takes over the city as mayor with his own Thunderbolts team. However, Daredevil teams up with Avengers like Steve Rogers and Tony Stark, and with the Fantastic Four in order to fight Kingpin in the comics. Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 will definitely adapt that idea to fit into the world of Marvel Television. Since the original storyline for Devil's Reign was resolved with a team-up, it is likely that Matt Murdock won't be fighting Fisk alone. He's already worked with other heroes before, both with the Defenders on Netflix and also with heroes like She-Hulk in the MCU. Thus, Daredevil will either bring back the Defenders or assemble another team like the Champions or the Dark Avengers. It's no secret that Jessica Jones was supposed to appear in Daredevil, Born Again like the Punisher did, but her cameo was later pushed for Season 2. However, this confirmation means that she likely will be helping Daredevil out in the next season. We think we can count on seeing not only Jessica Jones, but Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and many new additions to a new Defenders army. Luke Cage has fought for his city many times before, and he likely would not stand by while Fisk continues his reign over the city. There also are rumors that he may return for Avengers Doomsday, though he has not been confirmed to be in the cast. Luke also has strong ties with Jessica Jones, and in Marvel Comics they are one of the franchise's main couples, so where she appears, it is likely that he may appear too. Iron Fist also could appear, since he was one of the Defenders in the Netflix Marvel series. While Iron Fist was less popular than other members of the Defenders, he did have good chemistry with the rest of the team, and he could help bring in other heroes connected with more mystical origins as well. That could include Moon Knight, for example. He has been absent for a while in the MCU, but Daredevil could be a way to have Moon Knight return to the fold. We'll also probably see Angela Del Toro, Hector's Ayala niece, take over her uncle's mantle and become the new White Tiger, an inheritance that has already been hinted at in Season 1. Many MCU heroes also have ties to New York City, and could return to help Matt free the city from Kingpin's grasp. There's a possibility we'll see Ms. Marvel show up as well. Matt's dinner with the Khan family must be postponed now that New York City needs Daredevil more than ever, but it would make sense for Kamala to come to the city to rescue her father, for example. It would be amazing if Daredevil, Born Again, Season 2 included another New Yorker, Kate Bishop. We would love the Young Avengers teased a little bit more just so we know that Marvel Studios hasn't forgotten they made that promise. The end of the Marvels also had Kamala Khan recruit Kate, so they could both appear in Daredevil working together. One of Marvel's most iconic New Yorkers, Peter Parker, likely won't be joining into the fray. Including Spider-Man would be amazing to help reincorporate Peter with other heroes now that the world has forgotten him. But there are no signs that Tom Holland is involved with the show. Since the deal between Sony and Disney over how to use the character is complex, it's most likely we'll just have to accept Peter Parker was busy with something else. Yet, even without Peter Parker, Daredevil Born Again, Season 2 has the potential to feel like a true crossover event within Marvel's street-level universe. But unfortunately, we don't think we'll see as much of Frank Castle as we did in Season 1, even though he apparently escaped the Red Hook dungeon in the post-credits scene of the finale and, in theory, could join the Defenders. There's another story waiting for the Punisher. We'll circle back to him when we discuss the series' connection to the larger MCU narrative. Daredevil Born Again. Season 2 will begin with tensions running high, but there won't be an all-out war at first. Vincent D'Onofrio and Charlie Cox recently released a video where they tease a set. It's Fogwell's gym, where they apparently will have some kind of official boxing tournament. We also already know that Daredevil will switch to the black suit with the Double D logo at some point in the season, a callback to Matt's first suit in Daredevil. In fact, the inclusion of the black suit makes us wonder if Season 2 won't be more of an adaptation of the Shadowlands storyline from the comic books, instead of Devil's Reign. In this storyline from 2010, characters like White Tiger, the Punisher, Spider-Man, Luke Cage, Shang-Chi, and others team up with Daredevil against Kingpin. Daredevil becomes the leader of the Hand and adopts extreme methods. In it, he also finally kills his longtime enemy Bullseye. We still don't know how exactly Matt and Poindexter will cross paths again in the second season of the show, but if Daredevil descends into his most brutal self, he could kill Bullseye in an act of revenge for Foggy. Matt losing control of his own moral grounds like he does in Shadowland would be a great direction for Season 2. In the comics, even the Punisher gets a little taken back by how brutal Daredevil becomes. Another character we can expect to see more of in Season 2 is Karen Page. With everything happening, she won't leave New York City. We may see Matt and Karen back at their dynamic duo energy, but ultimately growing apart as he begins to kill without regret. We don't think their romance will rekindle, especially because things are complicated between Karen and Frank. Speaking of Matt's love life, his ex-girlfriend will certainly be a problem in Season 2. Heather is now working for Fisk as the city's new commissioner of mental health. She has a strong opinion on masked vigilantes. She believes the mask gives the person behind it an excuse to behave uncontrollably. She has a point, as we see how the concept of being a vigilante corrupts people like the cops in the Punisher cult. However, she most likely believes that the fact that Fisk's task force officers don't wear masks, it makes what they do okay. After her experience with Muse, she believes she killed someone who acted out because of a mask. She doesn't feel like Daredevil saved her that day, even though he fought Muse and stabilized her after she shot Muse and fell. She sees it as Daredevil fighting Muse, not saving her. Not being able to differentiate a good masked vigilante from a bad guy with or without a mask, she will reinforce Fisk's hunt for vigilantes. If the plot goes into this direction based on comics, we may see Daredevil turn Hell's Kitchen into Shadowland, a zone within New York City where he controls, not Fisk. Members of the Fallen Hand in New York may seek out Daredevil and help him train to become strong enough to deal with the new obstacles he needs to face. If Marvel Studios leans into this darker arc, Season 2 might become the most haunting entry in the entire Disney Plus lineup yet. While shows like The Falcon and The Winter Soldier have explored the psychology of Marvel characters, including how someone like John Walker murders someone in cold blood using the Captain America shield, the Disney Plus Marvel shows often lack the psychological depth of a show like Punisher from the Netflix era. But this seems to be changing now. By the end of Season 2, we could see Daredevil's team defeat Wilson Fisk and his task force. A new election would be held, and to mirror Marvel Comics, Luke Cage could be elected after building up a positive image helping people during Fisk's reign of terror. This change in political leadership could mark a new chapter in the street-level MCU, ushering in a hopeful yet fragile peace for the most important city in the Marvel Universe. If Luke Cage becomes mayor, it not only honors his comic arc but sets up future stories about power in the United States and government-controlled superheroes in the MCU. After Thaddeus Ross's presidency and Wilson Fisk's mayorship, the country will need to bounce back. However, the city and the country may still be recovering from their impact when the incursions begin. Daredevil, Born Again is officially a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe canon. Now you might be wondering how exactly Daredevil, Born Again, Seasons 1 and 2 fit into the larger narrative of the MCU. As part of Phase 6 of the franchise, the series will have connections to the larger MCU, but probably nothing that will heavily impact the build-up for Avengers: Doomsday. Season 1 takes place around the same time as Captain America: Brave New World before Thunderbolts. Considering that a big threat in New York City would be handled by the new Avengers after Thunderbolts, we can safely presume that Season 2 also takes place before Thunderbolts. The only other project that fans will probably need to watch to fully understand Season 2 of Daredevil, Born Again is the upcoming Punisher special. The post-credits scene in the finale is actually more likely to be a setup for that special than for the series' Season 2. In that special, we can expect Punisher freeing himself and other hostages at the Red Hook dungeon, like the vigilante swordsman. Remember when we said before in the video that we don't think we'll see much of Frank Castle in Daredevil Born Again Season 2? That's because we think the Punisher will be fighting the task force and sabotaging the Red Hook operations from within. Frank's attack from the inside in the Punisher special will help the heroes on the outside to ultimately defeat the Kingpin. Having Daredevil Born Again be canon is really exciting, especially with Spider-Man only fighting multiversal threats lately. Daredevil is the MCU's most important street-level hero. Fans were definitely missing some good old street-level action like we got in this revival. Avengers: Doomsday will be a multiversal threat kind of movie, but it would be really cool to see Daredevil running Shadowland within Battleworld during Secret Wars. There are no signs of a third season of Daredevil, Born Again being produced at the moment, but that doesn't seem so far-fetched. If Season 2 is as successful or more than Season 1, Disney Plus could turn the show into the first serial project that follows canon as it is happening. Season 3 would take place in a post-Secret Wars world. Considering how complicated it would be to continue on a third season after a soft reboot in the franchise, we may need to settle for only 2 seasons after all.
If you say to me that you're a new man, I say fine.
Now we would love to hear your opinion on Daredevil, Born Again, Season 1. We would also like to know your expectations for Matt Murdock and other characters in the upcoming Season 2. Leave a comment down below and remember to subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching CBR.